Hello everyone. Today we are going to cover using Google Sheets to track your applications. Notice I'm wearing a nice Hawaiian shirt here, etc., etc. I do want to point out though that I'm not on vacation and probably neither are you right now if you're watching this video. So unless I were going to Trader Joe's for an interview, I don't think I would be wearing a Hawaiian shirt out in the job world. At home with the fam. That's cool. All right. So just wanted to point that out. Business casual or better when you're out applying for a job. And Robert can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I don't think so. All right. So what we're going to get into today is using Google Sheets to track your job applications. So this is going to be kind of important. There's a couple of things that we want to do with job applications that this is going to be helpful for. We're going to use Google Sheets and Google Docs a little bit. All right. So the Google Sheets, we're going to start with that first because that gets into tracking job applications and how you know what you applied for, when to follow up, and that kind of thing. So let's get into it. I'm going to set up a screen share here. Let's see. I believe I want to go over here, and that's the screen I want to share. All right. So perfect. Now I need to get an example off screen for me to look at, and I think that's going to be right there. All right, so now I've got one that I've already built to look at, but in order to use Google Sheets, we're going to go to sheets.google.com. And as you can see, this is a lot like Microsoft Excel, and it basically does the same thing. And real quick, I'm going to add Google Sheets to my bookmarks over here. All right, and we'll move it up right under Google Docs. So when I'm in my bookmarks, I've got Google Sheets right there. And I'm going to start a new blank spreadsheet. And up here, I'm going to title it Okay, and we'll call it job applications. Then across the first row, the first row along the top here, I'm going to create some fields that we're going to use. Okay, and then we'll go. Now you'll notice I'm putting in quite a few fields for responses. I'm actually going to go out to 6. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, using my left mouse button, click and hold and select all of those fields and then come up here and just make them in bold. All right, so we know that's the header. All right, so what I'll do, I'm going to save this blank template and I can share it with any of you so that you can make a copy of it for yourself if you want. Um, but let's pretend that I'm going to fill in a job application that I did. So let's say I applied for this on 8/16/2022. That would be the date that I applied. And let's see. Oh, since August 16th is a kind of special date for Elvis fans, let's go with that. All right, let's see. We'll go with EPE. Okay. And now, as soon as I click out of there, if I come to the line between the two fields, if I want that to show in full, I can double click on the line at the top there, and it will widen out to the width of the widest entry in the field. I can also shorten up fields if they're taking up too much room, right? So, and let's see, let's say I applied for the IT operations tech, and we'll open that up a little bit, and we'll say I applied through their website. Okay. And I don't think we really need to expand the website out too much. And let's say response one, let's say applied, acknowledged. Uh, I guess I do like it that we can see the whole thing. But, some links will get really long, so you might not want to blow that field up too much. Let's say response one, when I applied online, I got an email back. So, okay. So for the first response, I applied and I got an acknowledgement email for the application back. Okay. And let's say, oh, around about August 20th, I get an email notification that the job was closed, um, or a turned down letter. So what I would do is come in here and I would note response two was either a turned down email or a job closed email. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this, and I'm right on the actual cell where the information is, right? So I'm just going to write on the cell where the information is, and I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to insert a comment, and that comment is going to be just for right now, the date that I received that email. Okay. And you could do the same thing. You could also, make notes with comments in any of these fields. All right. So just be aware you may get a habit of using one field for comments of a certain type, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously, if you'd gotten more responses, this would be for things like an interview process, or you took a test for a job, or any of those type of things. So you've got a way to track this stuff, because if you are on unemployment, you're going to need to put this information in, and when you're certifying weeks, and you need to have this information handy. Also, let's say they told you to follow up on a certain date. You might want to put that in one of the response field, and then also add it to your calendar. And if you'll notice over here, you have access to Google Calendar for your account. You have access to Google Keep, which is a to-do list, Google Tasks, etc., and also to your Google Contacts. If you were to, uh, you know, apply by phone or by mail, you could also add fields in here for that. Let's say I needed to add a mailing address field. So I could click on the response one field and let's go insert one column left. Okay. And let's say I put that in as address. Okay. And notice it picked up that everything else in that row is bold, so it bolded it for me. That's kind of nice that it did that. Okay. And now if I need to, I could put in an address or let's go ahead and add one more. Eh, insert one column left and we'll call it phone. Okay, so if we add a contact phone number or address, etc., we can fill all that information in as well. Uh, so you would use this to keep track of your applications. You could schedule reminders through Google Calendar on when to follow up. All right, let's say I needed to follow up with, let's say we did not get the turn down. Okay, and let's delete the comment since we didn't get it turned down. And let's go in and say we want to add all right, that's going to pop up the first time you get in calendar, but we're on here. So let's go to, let's see what we got in August here. So if we applied on the 16th, let's say we want to follow up in 2 weeks and see, we just want to follow up in 2 weeks. And we're going to create an event. All right, that's down here at the bottom on June 20th. Uh, and let's say uh, we're going to do it via email or web contact form. Okay, and we want reminders, so let's add a notification for um, 1 day before and 30 minutes before. All right, so and we're going to change the time to uh, let's change it to 9 o'clock a.m. Okay, and time zone, let's put that particular time zone over in Central Time. Here we go. Central Time Chicago, that's what I was looking for. And notice that that's GMT -5 right now because we're on daylight savings time. All right, in the winter on standard time it goes to GMT -6. All right, but I'm looking for Chicago because I happen to know that Memphis, Tennessee is south of Chicago and in the Central Time Zone. And we'll go ahead and click OK. And there we go. So right now we've got a reminder for 9 a.m. Central Time, and we're going to get notification 30 minutes before and 1 day before to remind us to follow up on this application. All right, we'll save that. Notice that's up on my calendar now, and I can close the calendar out. And you know what? I'm in Pacific time, and if you're watching this, likely you are too. And that's going to be 7 o'clock in the morning my time. Okay, because Central Time is 2 hours later than we are here on the West Coast. I know that because I used to work in downtown Chicago for about 20 years, and I'm originally from Wisconsin. So Central Time. So since I would be applying for a position probably in Memphis, Tennessee, I'm going to follow up with them. I would want to follow up in that time zone. Now, if you're staying local, obviously you can keep all your appointments in Pacific time. But for those of you that are willing to move or relocate for a job, you're going to need to keep track of time zones and where they are and follow up with employers on their time. All right. So that would be using Google Sheets to track applications. And I have one of these already, and it's filled down, probably 30 or 40 or 50 places. Okay. So, you're going to definitely want to do that. Now, let's talk about something else that's going to be helpful, and then I'm going to wind this video up. Okay, so you're going to want to use Google Docs, and this is something that I wound up doing as well. And I'm going to say we're going to do something along the lines of a resume, and I guess you could use one of these templates. I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to start with a blank document, and I'm just going to call it by my name. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put in my contact info. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to put in work history in chronological order. And no, I am not building a resume here, although I could be using a document like this for a chronological resume, but that's not what I'm doing, not my point here. Education history. Licenses and certifications, and then skills. And last but not least, professional references. Okay, what we're doing with this document, and it may go out to several pages. Again, this is not about building a resume. What I'm doing is I'm getting one document that has all of this information with the dates. All right, the month and date you started. What if you went to multiple colleges? What if you have five or six different references? What if you have 20 licenses and certifications that all have different certification numbers? All right, what I'm doing is I'm gathering all this information in a single document so that as much as possible, I can just open this document when I'm going to apply for a job. Okay. And for instance, when I apply to EPE Enterprises online, if I don't have all this information all together in one place, easy to get at, it's going to take me too long to apply for that job online. And guess what? Online applications, they probably time you. And if you take too long, you may get ruled out just by taking too long to fill out the application. There's multiple reasons why this is a really good idea to have all this information in a single document with all the times and dates and certification numbers. Let's see, let's go here and put a bullet list just so we know. Okay, and then here, okay, etc. All right, okay. You're going to want to have all this information in a single place. Okay, and matter of fact, I would almost put skills at the end of it rather than before the professional references. But you're going to want to be able to just quickly look this stuff up in one single document when you're filling out applications online. This is a very important point, and it's something that I figured out after a week or so of putting applications in. I'm like, I really would be helpful to have all this in one place so I don't have to look all over for it. And that really is going to conclude today's video. All right, so I'm going to kind of switch back over to the camera here. And I'm going to thank everyone for watching, and we'll go ahead and work on what are we going to do for the next video? And I'll tell you that in the next video. Okay, everyone, good luck on your job search and let's get these done. Thanks.